at a time. This is the Coffee Break Show. Today we are going to blow your mind. Welcome aboard. I am so excited today for Wednesday's welcome. Listen, if you're new to the Coffee Break Show and you've never been here before, we share tips, tools, techniques, and we share inspiration, motivation, things that create thrivability in the world. We are here to help you grow your life and make your quality of life what it actually is that you want to do. Thank you for coming on board. So if you're new here, put your name down here. We want to get to know you, meet you, like you, and trust you, and have fun with you. So you also want to meet today's guest. And I'm gonna get into this. Today's guest is Bardi Toto, and I have to tell you, I can't wait to tell you how I met her in the first place. Do you know how the divine comes in and says, no, you don't want to go this way, you want to go this way, and kind of guides you there? Okay, that's how I met Bardi, and I want to tell you about it so much because it's so funny to be in here. So Bardi, welcome to the Coffee Break Show with us today. So I want to see people over here. Bardi, so glad to see you. Welcome. Nice to meet you, everybody. Looking forward to today's show. Thank you for coming on board. It is going to be a rock your world show. Now, here's the thing. Bardi, I want to tell them how I met you. So I am scrolling down my Facebook feed. I'm scrolling down and there's an ad. There's an ad that says, you know, I'm going to show you how to get your books over to here. And I stopped because I'm a writer and I look at everything and I think to myself, hey, Teresa, nice to see you on. I think to myself, I wonder what other people are doing. So I went in there and this woman was talking about how to get yourself to Amazon, #1. And I was thinking to myself, that's a habit I already do. I already know how to do that. So every time I am in the newsfeed, I hit the place where people are making comments. I want to see it. And the first comment I saw said, I got to the New York Times bestseller list without spending a dime. And right away, my hair went up because I have been an author. I have almost 33 books out right now. I have been an Amazon bestseller, international bestseller, blah, blah, blah. So many times I can do it in my sleep. Yeah. And so what happens is I thought to myself, and I watched the reply. They said, congratulations. 0.05% of the people can do that. And I thought to myself, yes, that's true, but she did. So I clicked on her name, which was Bardi Toto. And all of a sudden, when I clicked on her name, 4 books came up. And the book that caught my eye, I mean, that just dropped my mind, was Disrupt Your Brand. And so I read it and I thought, okay, I have to have Bardi on the show. She saved me $2,000 of buying a product that was probably useless that I didn't know. Oh, yeah. She'd already gone to there and she's got secrets that she's going to be sharing with you. And I see you all coming on. Nice to see you. Hey, Risa, nice to see you. Hey, I made it. You go. Thank you. So what's going to happen is she is going to be dropping bombs today, and you guys are going to have questions. I want you to put your questions over in the normal place where we put them. But first, just let me ask you one question. What's the state of the union right now of like social media in general? What is that? Let's just dive deep and talk about social media overall and its role in the world right now.
Oh, geez. What I actually, and this is not, I just created a course on Zoom and live streaming and virtual summits because everything is going virtually. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to speak at hotels this year. I had a lot of events this year planned as an author and a speaker. It is not going to happen. And so I created a course. Everything's going virtually. Everything is going back to, YouTube. Video is how I started. It wasn't Facebook or Twitter. I met Gary Vee back in 2007, 2006.
Yeah, I read it last.
YouTube. So as far as where social media going, it's all virtual. So why did I just create a Zoom course? I created a beginner course and an advanced course. I created a course on live streaming. I created a course on how to do a virtual summit to help authors. And this just came out this week. Like
So
this,
what's the top 3 platforms you would use? What's the top 3 platforms if you were
Instagram.
starting out right now, brand new? And is there an age group if you started on Instagram? Why? Because YouTube is such an unkept secret. I think it's so fascinating. What's the top 3 things you would use if you were starting to build your social media profile right now?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm very unique like yourself. I like to stand out. I make noise. I'm a disruptor. That's why I wrote the book, Disrupt Your Brand. Back in 2009, I saw everyone on Facebook and Twitter, and I said, I do not just want to be on Facebook and Twitter. And I know there's something out there called Hootsuite. I'm kind of against it because it doesn't work all the time.
Yeah, but you made a software, didn't you?
I did. That's where I'm going. I actually created a software where I can post to 20 sites at once. I don't manage all of them. It's for higher ranking in Google, higher indexing. But the top 3, the 3 that have changed my whole life, believe it or not, is Instagram. Instagram is not just about photos. You can do 60-second videos. If you have over 10,000 followers, you can sell your books. You can swipe up. I show people, people that are my clients and so forth, I show them how to get past the 10,000 so people can buy their books, swipe up, look at like the interview I have with Gary. I made an Instagram story today with Canva that I have not launched yesterday, that I have not launched yet, where people today will be able to swipe up and see that interview. I've decided to release it that nobody has ever seen before. Second, as much as, Facebook for Facebook groups, I don't want to say I'm against Facebook, but if you're just on Facebook, you're incubating yourself, you're pigeonholing yourself because only 1 to 3% are seeing your posts.
Yes.
Now,
you speak about that in the book as well.
Yes.
That such a small portion of people actually get to see the post that's not really, it's not really infusing your message.
No. And I'm going to tell you not what you want to hear, but what works and what doesn't. So I hope I don't offend anyone.
You go,
today.
girl. Offend
But
away.
I'm going to tell you this. Like Gary is all about Facebook ads. I haven't spent a dime in 13 years. I've done everything through asking and gratitude. You get it because you've read the book. Asking and gratitude. I've done everything free organically with social media. It's all about just being real, being authentic. Facebook is great, but you're incubating yourself. If you don't get out past Facebook, it's not going to work. I mean, your business is going to, I hate to say fail, it's not going to fail, but you're not going to.
It's not going to soar either.
Exactly. I mean, people have told me, somebody said, Bardi, pretend you have the cure for cancer. And I'm like, that's a little morbid, but you have to think like that is that you have to, whether you're an author, whether you want to inspire people, whether you are a musician, whatever it is, if you're just on Facebook, you're going to stay stagnant and you're going to stay complacent. So Facebook for groups or pages like yourself, I said in the book that most people will go on like a page once, never to go back again. And it's true. If
That's
you're
right.
a part of a group like what you have here, or a page where you have a common interest, people will keep going back. Instagram is huge. I just did a brand new course this week. I've been busy on TikTok. Now, a lot of people think, TikTok's for, lip syncing and the youth, but it's really good for branding. Believe it or not, Twitter, I went there kicking and screaming 6 years ago, and I found a way to use it to where if you only want to surround yourself with people that are into gratitude or entrepreneurs or business, you can go after a niche market. You can even hone in on a geo-targeted area around you that most people don't know.
Interesting.
I do love Facebook as far as groups, meeting people like you. However, I feel like there is a negativity on Facebook right now, and I'm choosing not to listen or look because it does put you in a depression. I've been stuck in lockdown for oh my God.
Yeah, as we all have.
3 months.
I think we're on day 74 or something like that.
I don't know where I'm at. I know that it's been since March 10th or March 15th, and I have not left the house. I've gone out little, but yeah,
Hanging
that's
out
why.
at home. It's so interesting. Me too. I have been, well, my work. I love my work. I do my work. I'm very excited. I have secret projects coming up, and you know how that is.
Oh,
But
well,
I want to talk about something that's really important. One is, do you know she was a nurse? She was actually a nurse in the beginning. One of the things I want to talk about right now is disrupting your brand. Now, the way that the book starts out is it's vastly different than what you imagine. And one of the things that you are talking about when disrupting your brand is about being authentic, but being real and knowing that your brand isn't a logo. Your brand isn't the pretty picture. Your brand is you. That's the point that you make in the book. And you made this, I have several things wrapped up, but the thing that I saw last night that really struck me was that you said people don't buy products, they buy you. People don't buy brands, they don't remember brands, they remember you.
Yeah, people are attracted to people, not product. I told Les Brown that, and he's like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
I get it. Because people, I had a guy come to me saying I had to make my logo. He's a new client. I said, no, you're not making a logo. I said, we're selling you. People want to like, know, and trust you. I mean, the whole foundation of my business and my life is gratitude. When I was in Entrepreneur Magazine a couple months ago, it was called The Power of Gratitude. Anything that I do, all my interviews, I've implemented gratitude, asking in gratitude into my business, but also you have to be authentic. I tell people, I have a new YouTube course coming out. All these people are talking about lighting, that you need a certain camera, you need to look a certain way. You know what? The best videos I've made, it's not what I look like, it's what comes out of my mouth.
And that's the whole point, isn't it? It's like you've talked about in this book about your brand. Now, this is the big deal. People, I think, hide behind their logos. They hide because they don't want to come out.
Computers.
Yeah, they hide behind computers. They don't want to come out. They don't want to be out front. So what 3 tips could you give them when somebody's starting to be online? The 3 tips to being like authentic, to know how to be yourself, because you make so many points in this. I mean, I could go on for so long, but this is the most important point. The most important point is, how do you show up? How do you show up? 3 tips for someone. How can they show up in their authentic self? And why is that so important?
Well, when I started the book, it was going to be on branding and social media. And as you know, I started about being authentic and real, but I also talked about resistance.
Yes.
If you cannot get past resistance, like I can teach social media and branding all day long. I can teach people all kinds of stuff all day long. But if you can't get past resistance, then it's not going to work.
You can't take an action.
Right.
That's correct.
And the thing that you have to think about is who it's helping. Because you can't think about what you look like. There's never my mentor told me something very important. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be right. Just get it going. Because we can overthink. We have to, even myself right now, there was 1% of me that I want to say didn't come on. Look at my hair. I haven't had a haircut. I look like a mangy mutt, like in 3 months. And, I have not, some days I don't make videos because I'm like, oh my God, look how I look. Yeah. And I know as women and men too, of course.
I always tell everybody, this is my vanity.
Yeah.
I hear you, girlfriend.
Yeah. So the whole thing is, you have to get over yourself. You have to realize that this is for someone else. This is not about you. Yes. And it's not about what you look like. It's about what you say. Okay. So be authentic and real. And on YouTube, I'll be with video. I'm a video freak. I love video, whether it's live streaming. And one thing I taught in the live streaming course is, I'm an impromptu kind of gal. If you sit there and you wait for the perfect lighting, I'll go out of the gym when I could go to the gym, and I'll just turn on the live and hit record. And some people say you need plans, you need bullet points. Sometimes if you do that, you're overthinking. So, just be real, just be yourself, and just start talking from your heart. And with video and being on live streaming, which is where it's going in virtual summits, people are going to look, you can't hide. You can't hide your
God.
facial expressions or your feelings.
Mhm.
So just being authentic and real and speak from your heart. And, I tell people when they do video or even when they brand themselves to, think of their greatest frustrations and talk about it because people will identify with you. See, my story, what you said, I was a nurse. I took the love of helping other people onto the internet. When I first started on YouTube, I talked about how I was depressed. I didn't want to go to sleep at night because I knew the next morning I had to wake up, and it wasn't about helping people, it was the politics. And
Yeah.
I made a video on how I couldn't stand my life. I mean, at the time, I couldn't stand the politics and all. And people would call me, like my phone would blow up and people would say, I'm in your shoes. What are you doing now? And it's like, I didn't even have a product, but who I was selling was me because people could identify with me. And so with the book, I was very raw and real about what to do. And it's so simple, stupid, like making a comment. And I talk about that.
Yes, you talk a lot about the simplicity of the actions you take.
Let me let me touch on that real quick. See, Facebook has brainwashed us on billboards, planes, buses, everything to like something. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Liking is lazy. Retweeting is lazy. It takes 1 second to make a comment. It takes 1 second to look at someone's profile. And when you look at someone's profile, you have something in common with everyone, most everyone you meet on the internet, whether it's the place they're from, maybe they've been to a place you want to go, maybe they're read a book you like, maybe it's a quote, whatever it is. And it takes literally 5 seconds to type, I love your post, I love what you're doing, and compliment them. What that does is, and this is not from a place of it's all about me, but it gets you to the top of the feed, for instance, in Instagram, where people see your comment. I look at comments. I don't look who liked or retweeted, and it makes you stand out. And, I did it genuinely from my heart. The other thing is, do it genuinely from your heart. Don't do it because, I need to make money. I'm just going to make comments because I want to be on their show, or I want to get attention, because a lot of people are attention, I'll say it, attention whores. Seriously. I mean, especially in the entertainment world, that they want to be seen. Unfortunately, right now, how the world has gone, there's a lot of people in the music, entertainment business. And I'm sad that cannot work. And everything is going live virtually. All the keynote speaking, even Gary Vee, he's doing virtual summits.
Yep. I'm not touring at all either.
Yeah.
We are here on this. You know what's interesting? I want to go back here because you've said so many powerful things, but what I'm enjoying, what's really enriching about this conversation is that the world is looking for authenticity. The world is looking for connection, and the simple things that we can do to bring that in. One of the things that I do on this show, I told everybody on the show, I will only bring guests on that are going to help you in this new world that's coming, in this new, pandemic economy is what I'm going to call it.
So everything,
it's changed.
Game over, change.
Yes. And one of the things that I do every day, I never send questions to, I actually am one of the people who read the book, and I know the book when I get on. I don't say, what questions you want me to ask you? I think the being in authenticity, the being in the moment, the asking someone a question live, that to me is a form of gratitude because they get to share so abundantly. And when you get to the point where you have an audience with you, you're sharing out to the world. That's gratitude. It's lifting all boats. It creates this. And I do not make shows that come up with a script and a this and a that. I want to be in the moment, the level of authenticity raw, when I cry or when I laugh or whatever's here is here. The ability to get past the resistance of feeling vulnerable and embracing vulnerability is such a big portion of what you just said. What the whole thing about moving forward in this world is going to be about connecting and not being lazy, like, oh, that's funny, oh, that's it. It's so easy to see something and make that laughy face and then not say, you're cracking me up,
Yeah.
or that made me giggle, or something that is just a little connector. And the power behind that is like, that's like 10xing everything. And so
Well, I think that we have a lot of hard expectations on ourselves. We put a lot of expectations on ourselves. Because I'm going to tell you a secret about this book. This book, and I didn't know it, Amazon, when I sent the PDF, the pages, there's a few pages missing, like there should be a blank page before the beginning of a certain chapter. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there wasn't. And the book had already come out because somebody uploaded the wrong file. And I'm like, whatever, who cares? And the reason I had to say who cares is it wasn't because there were a couple pages missing. It was like, it's what the book says. And so I'm like, I'm going to launch it anyway. I'm not waiting. I can't wait. And so it's just like, there's never going to be a perfect time. A lot of people, they aren't on Instagram. A lot of people are stuck on Facebook. Instagram has been a godsend for me. It's how I got to interview TD Jakes, Real Talk Kim, Forbes actually Entrepreneur Magazine found me on Instagram. It's like my first video. The first video I made, if I had never made that first video, Michael Beckwith would never have written the foreword of my book. Yep. And you know what that first video was about? It was a testimonial saying I just attended an event with Bob Proctor and Michael Beckwith. And I love that man so much. Like, something changed in me about my thought process. I would love to write the foreword of my book. And that is all I said. And the next thing I know, the man is calling me on the phone and he says, I would love to write the foreword of your book. And I froze and I literally self-sabotaged it because I was like, he had just been on PBS, Oprah, and I didn't self-sabotage it. I just froze for about a month. He's like, send the foreword to my editor tomorrow. And I'm like, tomorrow? You're like, and in my mind, this was a long time ago, totally different person. I said, if he writes the foreword of my book, I can't be everything to everybody. And I think as women, especially, or
yes, you spoke about that.
We feel like we have to be everything to everybody. Forget that. You just have to get out there and do it. I mean, I help people take ideas and turn them into products. I'm not just an author. So I'm sitting here like, if you have an idea, you can turn it into products. I mean, I'm helping someone right now who they're a musician. I'm like, what else do you like to do? Oh, I love to cook. Okay, let's create a cookbook for you. Let's do something that you're passionate about and turn it into an income or turn it into something else than what
that's the future right now. Right now, what she's talking about, you pay attention to what she just said. There's the keys to the kingdom. That's the whole point of doing this right now. Bardi, you have been dropping bombs and people have been talking and they've been putting up. I'm just putting up some of these things that people have been putting up. So the thing about the future right now, Bardi, I want to go into a couple. I want people to understand that this world has been shifted.
It is.
The things that they are talking about, the things that she's talking about doing, do not cost money.
They're free.
They cost everything to build your business with. The thing about showing up, the thing about being here, hey, Peter, nice to see you on. What is the most important thing for you to understand is that branding is the willingness to be present with you, warts and all, and let it be out there, warts and all. Now, she just talked about a book, and I know the book. The mistakes she's talking about in the book are in this book. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing that most people do. When they pick up the book, they have an expectation. Stop having an expectation. Have openness and be willing to get the gems out of whatever you're doing. So, Bardi, I just want to talk a little bit more about, I want to go back to the resistance. And then I really want to cover this. I want to cover social media do's and don'ts because they were so good in this book. They were so good. And so many people you talked about in this book, don't tag people unless you ask them.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's so many people that they have such bad
manners. They ride your coattails.
They do. They ride your coattails. They have such bad manners and they want to, it's like, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. Here's my Gary V right here. It's like you're peeing in somebody else's pool. I mean, come on. Let's talk about some social media do's and don'ts, because you don't want to ruin your branding by not having some decorum on the platforms.
Oh, I will give them to you, especially right now on LinkedIn. It drives me crazy. If you if you become friends with someone, do not go in there and say, oh, do you want to make 6 figures? I have people that, like, even on Instagram, they're like, oh, do you want some social media tips? And I said, I really don't think you read my profile. And this is what I say. I said, why don't you get to know who I am first before you sell me? I said, don't spam me. I mean, I'm blunt. I mean, this is what I say, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook.
Yep.
I tell people, can I ask you a favor? And it's not, can you ask you a favor? Try getting to know who I am first. Take a look at my profile. And then they're like, oh my God, I am so sorry. I'm like, because you're spamming me. Don't do that. And don't tag people. I mean, especially riding someone else's coattails. Everything I am talking about is free. I mean, as far as branding, yes. Do I have courses on live streaming and Instagram and virtual summits, how to do a virtual summit? Yes. However, how I've done everything, I haven't spent a dime in 13 years. All the asking and gratitude. Do make a comment. Don't just like and retweet. That's lazy. And I'm not calling you guys lazy. You're probably saying, oh, but
somebody
Facebook
taught you that.
Yeah. But it's so simple, stupid, but it goes so far on ROI. I have so many right now musicians, and I have a whole list of people I have to interview that I haven't, because I've been making courses the past 3 weeks. But the people that I reach are untouchable, and that is because, one, I made a friend request, which is a do. Who cares if they are the CEO of whatever? Don't tag people, don't spam people, get to know them. Do not ever join a group for your own gain. Like, you can join a group and say, hey, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I talk about this in my book. It's really about communication. Is go in the group and say, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I hope I learn a lot. Don't go in a group and say, hey, it's like vomiting all over people, selling your potion lotion or whatever.
That's true. Did you hear that?
Come from a point of inspiration and not desperation.
Beautiful.
Because your posts and how you interact with people, they will know if you're desperate. It will come across. You have to come from a point of inspiration, not desperation. But Bardi, I need to make money. What's the point of social media? I'm on here. Big don't.
That never works.
Yeah.
That never works.
I have a big don't. In your name, never be like Debbie Remax Realtor Smith, or Debbie Keto Smith, because that tells me you are only on Facebook to sell me. You do not want to get to know who I am. When you have more of an interest in other people, hear me out, than you do yourself, you will be unusually successful. And you might be like, but I need to make money now. I need to get this done now. Okay. When you implement gratitude and asking first, the money will follow. It's like Gary and I
promise you that's true. Say that again, Bardi. Highlight it. I promise you this piece of information is one of the most important. You go, girl.
When you give, when you give value, when you give yourself, then the money will follow. It's like what Gary says, give, and ask. I think my my most favorite interview he and I did was the one on asking in gratitude about making comments. And he said, you're on to something big. And it was like, yeah, it's like, I told in one of his books, jab, 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 right hook. He said, give, ask. It's the same thing with me. It's like the foundation of my business and my life has totally been, yes, gratitude. Peter says, be divorced from the results. That is true. I mean, some people do not like the process. But what I'm doing is so simple. I'm going to tell you a big secret and a tip. In fact, I put it in my book. What I do is I write down, let's say 20 people you really, really want to connect with. And I said this in the Entrepreneur Magazine interview, 20 people you want to connect with. Let's call it on Instagram. It could be agents. It could be someone you want to interview. It could be someone you want to work with. Okay. It could be a potential client. All right. Add them as a friend. I don't care how big they are.
Yep.
And the next thing is,
amen.
Go to them, their profile, and pay them a compliment. It will make their day. And
an
not
authentic
for your
compliment.
Own gain, not for your own gain, but an authentic compliment, whether it's their post or picture, where they've been. I'm dying right now looking at my friends' posts because they're in Hawaii and I'm not.
Yeah, I see that. Oh.
Yeah, I miss my son a lot. But anyway, so the whole thing is to be authentic and real. And people are like, the biggest question I get that people want to pay me for, they say, once I become friends with someone, what do I say? And I'm like, are you serious? Like, seriously, when I become friends with, let's say, Kathy Ireland, I'll tell you a really quick story about her. Kathy Ireland and I met on Twitter. She was the first person on Twitter that I became friends with. And I sat here and I'm like, I'm going to do a test on gratitude, okay, with Kathy Ireland. And my son and I had gone to a Toys for Tots event, and she had made a post about how she was volunteering for Toys for Tots. And I said, I think it's amazing with the busiest person you are that you can do that. And so I posted a picture of my son and I on the street corner for Toys for Tots. She immediately became friends with me. She says, nice. Thank you, that your son is, wanting to become a Marine and so forth at the time. So then we immediately became friends from that. So I had an interest in what she was doing. She had an interest in what I was doing. Okay. That is how we became friends. When you go to an event, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a conference, you don't know those people at all. You meet them in the lobby. You say,
that's right.
Hi, how are you?
You might snap a picture with you. Yeah, got it.
Here's my card.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something we can do together. Let's collaborate. I like what you do. I think that we have a good synergy. Okay. The same way I just communicated on the in-person, you can do on social media. I met a guy 2 weeks ago that is like, he's married and so forth, that is my twin. He makes how-to courses, over-the-shoulder courses, but he does different courses than I do. And I said, between what you do and what I do with the mindset and the gratitude, let's come together. And we've been sharing each other's courses. His courses are now in my back office. My stuff is, it's a great, and we met on, gosh, I don't even know what it was, maybe Instagram or Facebook or something. And it turned into a huge business, literally in 5 seconds, just from.
That's how it happens. That's so interesting what you're saying. It's so interesting what you're saying. First off, I want to go back because you said so many cool things. I actually had to move my wedding ring over here and go, okay, remember, I want to go back to there. But I want to let those people out there that are MLMers know that I get some 5 to 8 requests a day.
I get
it's a day, every single day. By the end of the week, I can't reply to them all. In fact, I'm not kidding. 2 minutes before the show, a guy came on and right away pitched me. We have seen every single pitch that they are telling you to do.
See, I've trained over 200 different network marketing companies. I mean, I started with Life Force International, Amway. I've trained them how to brand themselves. And the ones that come to me are the big people at the top that believe in gratitude. But the problem is when they come into a company, they say, get 5 people to join your friends and family, which is all wrong. You need to get to know the person, get to know who they are, find a solution to somebody's problem versus just vomiting. Whether you're, in consulting, branding, an author is, if you have an idea and you're creating a product, find a solution to someone's problem. You're doing that with this show. You have a solution to people's problems. That's what we're doing right now is we're helping other people.
Yes, we want you to succeed.
Out of it. Yeah,
that's right.
And with the MLM people, I think they've been trained and taught, because people want to build their teams, they want to build their downlines, but what they're doing is they're going about it in the wrong way. Yes. They're just vomiting their product, potion, lotion, pill on you versus, getting to know the person. It really takes 5 minutes to get to know someone. I was on LinkedIn one night and the guy that hosts a show, Chopped, I didn't know he hosts a show, Chopped, until he actually made a comment of a post from Gary Vee and I. And we started talking. I said, I would love to interview you. And he's like, when you come back from Hawaii, let's do it. And then the pandemic happened and everything. But that was literally a 5 to 10 minute, text back and forth of getting to know each other.
Gosh, sorry about that. They bought your book. People have bought your book, but they're buying the one about asking.
Oh, yeah.
So
the power of asking is a form of gratitude, too.
Yes, it is.
I love the power of asking because so many people, especially women, are afraid to ask, whether it's the money they deserve, the relationship they deserve, the amount, like a raise. I mean, my ex-husband didn't ask for 17 years for a raise. I said, why? And he says, well, if I ask, they'll just hire someone younger and more, but what? I had an executive video producer from Hollywood come to me and get consulting on asking. He says, I want this project, but it's $300,000. And I said, what are you afraid of? He says, I'm 60 years old. And I said, but you have five Emmys. I said, so you go to them and you say that why you need to hire me is you're going to end up hiring me again, because if you hire someone younger with less experience, without the 5 Emmys, yes, they will cost you less, but in the long run, you will end up hiring me. Long story short, he ended up getting the job, and he was the reality producer for the, I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. It was like Eat the World with, Emerald Legacy or
Emerald, Lagasse or something. Yes. I can't say it right either. I know what you're talking about.
He is the producer that did Ice Road.
He's the guy's
Deadly Touch. Yeah. And he was coming to me asking me, how to ask. And I'm like, it was so simple. Like I said, just you got to shift the mindset and people, but the power of asking, it goes back from when you're little, I remember being in the 2nd grade, raising my hand, never getting called on because I was not the brightest person with the time to math test. And so then in my mind, I said, well, if I ask, I'm not going to get called on. So I just shut up. And it wasn't until honestly 2004 that I realized I had a voice. Something happened in me. So I love the power of asking, but you can implement asking into social media and branding. A friend requested an ask. And people are like, well, why would I want to be friends with them? They don't know who I am. Why would I want to be friends with Gary Vee? Why would I ask him to be my friend? He's not going to pay me any attention. Well, look what happened with him and I. I mean, if I had never asked as a friend, long ago, I had a YouTube channel with 950,000 subscribers. Unfortunately, I had a guy that did not like women and stalked me, take it down. And that's another story. But the whole thing is, if I had never gotten on video, I would not have met these people. Oh, I have a big social media etiquette plus. On Instagram, it takes 5 seconds to send a video direct message. Just like say, instead of typing, I'm glad to know you, just record yourself and say, hey, I'm really glad you and I became friends here on Instagram. Takes 5 seconds to say that and hit the send button. They're going to be like, oh my gosh.
They took the time.
They took the time to make a 5 seconds, you know.
Do you know the thing that's so cool about that is it's
free.
like, it's free. One of the things is like we send out handwritten or thank you notes because of that same thing, that 5-second thing that you push that little button and you say, I'm so glad we're connected. I enjoyed your whatever, or you want to know what's really worked for me in that authentic. I say very clearly how I've been enriched by my connection with someone, because it doesn't matter who they are. I've been enriched by their authenticity. I've been enriched by their generosity. I've been enriched by their message. Some way you've been enriched. And the more that you understand how many people, even if you have a not quite so good interaction with someone, if you look, there's still something enriching. And that's the most important part of social media right now. And we can tell the difference. I want to tell you a story about this wonderful man right here. I met this man. Now, I want to go back to that MLMers do or don't, because I think it's so important. Some of the people in the world who are talking about connecting with people. I mean, they stalk you on Facebook. They have some sort of training, I think. They have some sort of training that they say, this is how you go on Facebook, etc. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
And I will tell you this, what Bardi does works 100% of the time, 100% of the time. So, and when I want to say that, I want to say how powerful that is, because I don't do any of those direct sales, blah, blah, blah. I'm very strictly online. I get approached a lot, but who can do all those businesses? Who could do it? And right now, my one company just keeps me going and going and going. I met this gentleman named Peter who befriended me. We talked and we became friends. And before we did anything, I asked him what there was a plugin he was using that I wanted to know about. What is that plugin? So we got on the phone and he talked to me for about 15 minutes about the plugin, but then we started talking about everything. 2.5 hours later, no expectation, no anything, 2.5 hours later of helping me get something done. Didn't ask for anything, just gave of his heart right up front. And that's when I felt that's a good connection. And then later when we talked, he was like, this is what I do. And I was like, this is what I do. That's the point of the connection there. The first part of the friendship, love this. The first part of friendshipping and then partnering. And that's what he is so brilliant at. And to this day, I partner with him. I absolutely adore him. I love the product. Now, I want to let you know something. I want to let you know very clearly. I love Live Force. I love their product. It saved my life once. And when you said it, I haven't heard it in years.
Oh, yeah. They had something called colloidal silver.
That's right.
Now, back in the day,
I was the only one around.
I owned a bulk email marketing company. Unfortunately, I was the one that put spam in everyone's box before Virginia and Washington did those laws. This was back in 1997. But I helped people solve problems back then. And I've worked since then with over 200 different network marketing companies. I consult and train people, believe it or not, how to communicate. You know, I have courses on branding and social media, but my biggest passion is communication and, you know, how people can make 6 and 7 figures just from using gratitude, asking, communication.
Amen.
It sounds so simple, but it's not what you say, it's how you say it. In fact, I just have a brand new course in the back office on communication. In fact, I go in, I give examples on how to communicate with people, whether it's on all levels, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, because they're all different social media platforms. The reason I created the software back in the day, posting to all the sites at once, is one, to save time. There was a solution to a problem, but I really believe in engaging. I spend less than an hour a day on social media. Like I said, I mean, I train, when I have time, I do it for myself. Pick, 20 people that I really want to connect with, add them as a friend, and then compliment them, and not for my own gain or my need, but having an interest in somebody else. And that's what happened with this partnership I was telling you about with this guy, is that, he shared something with me and I shared something with him, and we talk daily. And it's like, we have to surround ourselves with very positive people, because there are people that train on network marketing. People are attracted to people, not product. There are people selling information and not an opportunity. I can't stand people that sell an opportunity to sell an opportunity.
Yes.
Or selling information. In fact, what I pride myself in is how. I don't show people what to do. I show them how to do it. So all my videos, like in the back office, are over the shoulder, step by step, so that people have no questions. Because I remember back in '97 being a nurse, I spent $1,000, and you know what I got? Paperwork, and I never heard from the guy again, and I couldn't get my money back.
Wow.
And
that happened so much.
And I swore that I would never, ever do that again. I gotta
tell you, this thing is blowing up on the side. There's so many people, but I love this, and I wanted you to see it. It appears as if you're giving me permission to succeed just by asking in the right way. Inaction equaling guarantee to failure. I was like, yes. But then after that last comment, it just blew up over there, and people are talking. Thank you, everybody, for being with Bardi. Bardi, I want to let you know we're over the 30-minute requirement. You okay to go on? It's all right. Good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I want to say something is, procrastination kills success.
Yeah.
Resistance is a form of procrastination, but action, this is because of Scott, action kills procrastination. So yes, procrastination kills success, but action kills procrastination. And I'm being transparent. I'm stuck in LA. I'm not in Hawaii, where I want to be, where I usually am. And during this pandemic, the first week or two, I saw it totally different than everyone else. I was so grateful. And I was like, oh my gosh, everything that I've been doing the past 20 years, now people are forced to do. Because I've had people comment, ex-husbands, that's why their exes say, get a job. Or, you can't make money. I don't see you making any money. You and I make money.
That's toxic.
Yeah. Well, it's because people that go to a 9-to-5 job, or they are a realtor, or they're a musician, or whatever they are, and they tangibly go somewhere. You and I, we do it invisibly. Everything that we do is consulting. People don't see what we do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I get it. They're like, how do you make your money? I'm like, exactly. Right now I make more. I make your salary on just investments right now.
Exactly.
That's
so what's happening is that I was so, believe it or not, excited about the pandemic, not because of the negative side, but because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to force people into their talents.
That's right. That's right.
Hear me out. It's going to force people into their talents and their gifts. Mm-hmm. Everything they've been putting off, they now have to do.
That's
and
right.
They have to face fears. But then, of course, being in LA for 2 months, and you do not want to be in LA, or what I hear on the East Coast right now during this, it's until July here. And I'm sitting here like, I cringe every day to go to Hawaii. I want to get on a plane so bad, but.
Girlfriend, I do too. In fact, last night, I am not kidding you. Last night, we watched a Smithsonian show on all the Hawaiian Islands.
I'm from there. My mother and I moved there when I was 13. She's passed. All my family has passed away. But someone had a sense of humor, and the universe landed my son in Hawaii, where he's stationed as a Marine. And so that's why I spent so much time there. But I lived there, half the time, actually more than half the time. And right now they're in a situation with quarantine where Hawaii's a mess right now. My heart hurts for the tourism there and all the people, because so many people have lost jobs. So the pandemic has forced people into getting uncomfortable.
Yep.
And some people might not like what I'm going to say, but I'm glad on that side that it's made people. I mean, I've made more courses than I have in the past 2 weeks than I probably have in a year. Not that I don't like making courses, but I mean, and now
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, especially when you have to, like on the videos, I have to embed every code. I know coding. There's a side of me that is a geek. So it's like, it's a lot of work. And putting it back on the membership site because only I know where I want it placed, you know, and so it's.
I want to say, I think that we understand this right now. Branding, how you've been traditionally taught, is dying. It's not alive anymore.
No, it's dead.
New branding is exactly what she's talking about. Now, here's what I want to say. If you haven't gotten this book, get it. It is going to help you stand out, build credibility, and trust the right way, not the old way, not the inflexible way, not the pay for it way. It's going to get very, very difficult right now to not show up. So all of the way we have worked, all the way we have made income, all that paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, it's died. It's going to be from value to value to value, project to project to project. You are going to be you're right now from this show, from this one single show, everything she dropped bombs all day. That is the way to maneuver yourself right now. And it's like, if you want to invest a few bucks, I don't even know how much I paid for this, but let me just tell you, she just dropped thousands of dollars worth of consulting information for you for free, just as a joy of being here, an ask, a giving, a gratitude, everything that's happened. This is the way marketing is going. I want to say you are special in this world right now. I want to say you are special in this world. My heart is in my throat. And what is special about you is the ability to be authentic, to share, be real, be here, be now, be giving, and be gracious. And I want to thank you.
Yeah, and don't sit there and say you'll think about something. Like I have an entertainer friend, and I said, you know, I could help you. Your passion is cooking. Let me help you write a cookbook, and I can do it very quickly, and we can have a different form of income for you. And their answer was, I'll think about it. And it's like, what is it?
Don't do it.
No.
Don't stop yourself. This is really, anytime I pull somebody on, you guys know all of the filters they have to go through to even get on this show. We've had all kinds of excellent guests. We've had Tamara McCleary, we have Joe Vitale, we have Felicia Slattery. We bring the best of the best right now. So for me, don't sabotage yourself. Don't get to the point here, because I will tell you this, it's going to get a whole lot more transformative in our future. And you are ahead of the curve right now just by doing this. And it's a quick, easy, I mean, I read this in a couple of hours. It's just chock full of stuff, and you can dog ear. And I'm sorry, I did this. I filled out where she did the work. I did the work. I'm telling you, she's like, what 5 things personally, what 5 things this? And I'm not going to tell you because that's my work. It's personal right now. But I'm saying it's all there. She gives you step by step. There's notes. There is even in the back of the book here, she outlines this there's a workbook back in the back here that you get to work, that you get to be with this book. This book is made to help you be successful. Bardi, I want to say this. In my best Gary V voice, you are a badass. Thank you for being on the show with us today. I really appreciate it.
I love you.
Guys, go get that book right now. See you soon. Peace out. See you guys tomorrow.
Thanks.